Marston's Domain.
Hey everyone, Marson here, and today I want to talk about Paper Mario the Origami King because I want to give this game a chance. And I wanted to kind of make a video on just talking about me being optimistic about the game and how I feel about the series in general. Because I definitely am someone that prefers the original style of Paper Mario. I love the first game. I've replayed it I don't know how many times. I never finished the Thousand Year Door, but I loved the first Paper Mario. And it wasn't that I disliked the second one. I just remember at that time I just didn't have it and I rented it once. So it's not the same as it is now where I'm older and I can just buy a game if I want it. I was younger, so I only had the first Paper Mario game and I loved it. I replayed it a ton. And in general, when it comes to RPG games, I tend to only like the Mario ones. I loved the first Mario and Luigi game. Mario RPG for Super Nintendo was one of my favorite games of all time. And I love Paper Mario, the first one. So, trust me, I'm someone that really does love the old style of Paper Mario. But with that being said, I'm still optimistic about this new one. Because I honestly think that it doesn't necessarily have to be exactly like the old ones for it to be good. The thing with that, though, is that we'll never know. I think that's what makes this the most interesting piece of all of this, is that they could maybe make it just like the old ones. Keep the traditional combat, give us the unique partners, which I know this one has partners, but there's a debate on how unique they are or what they actually do in the game. So let's just say it has really unique partners, the combat system's there, the XP system's there, all that old stuff's there. There's no telling if the magic will still be there. And if they can really make another one that we all go, you know what? This is amazing. This really fits in. And I'm starting to wonder if the reason why they don't make an old style Paper Mario game is because maybe they really just want to join both communities of people who like the old ones and people who have no interest in the old ones. Because you have to figure that Nintendo is hearing people say that they want an old Paper Mario game. They are aware of it. I do not believe that they don't know this. I'm pretty sure they've even commented before. There was some weird quote of them saying if there was enough demand that they would like remaster the Thousand Year Door. There was some weird quote I remember from the past. I don't know where it is, so I'm not gonna be able to find it, but there was something there. And even without that, even if you just disregard everything I just said right there, they are aware. There's no way that they don't know that people want an old style Paper Mario game. But with that being said though, there has to be some reason why they aren't doing it. Whether it's they just have no interest in doing it, or they think that maybe there's not actually enough fans that would buy it. Because this is also a factor too. If you go back and look at the sales numbers of the first two games, they're not bad. But just because people are demanding something doesn't equal pure sales. Just because people are being loud about, hey, we want an old style Paper Mario game, that doesn't mean, oh, that's going to equal exactly the same amount of sales, if not more, as the old games. And I'd like to make it clear, I'm not trying to make some argument of, hey, don't make an old school Paper Mario game. Like I said, it's one of my favorite games. I love Paper Mario, the first one. So I don't want this video to come off as me trying to say that, yeah, they should not make a traditional Paper Mario game. Because to go back to what I originally said on if the magic would be there or not, it could go the other way around. They could make an old school Paper Mario game, it could be freaking amazing, it could sell super well, and it can have all the magic in the world in it, and become one of our favorite Paper Mario games. There's really no telling, and I think that's the part that bothers people the most, is that it's like, hey, you've tried some other things, they're not really working out. Color Splash sold horribly. Of course, the Wii U had a factor to that, but other games sold decent on there, so I mean, it did bad. So it's absolutely fair for people to go, hey, you did experiment with this series, it's not working out well, can you maybe try to go back to your roots? Sticker Stars sold well, but I would argue that, you know, the 3DS did super well, and that definitely had a factor to it. So I think that Sticker Stars sales compared to how much the 3DS sold in general, I think doesn't really make it to where Sticker Star is some huge blockbuster in terms of attach rate. But there's really just no telling how the game would do. And I think that's what divides fans. Because on one hand, it's like, hey, we're getting a new Paper Mario game, maybe it will be good. But then on the other hand, you have people who are like, well, the last ones you've made aren't really that good, in that person's opinion. So why are you still doing this when tons of fans are saying, hey, go back to the old style? And I will say that with Color Splash, everything besides the combat was super cool. I loved filling in the paint spots. I loved how the game looked, but the combat was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I did not like it at all. I didn't like using the cards. I didn't like using the gamepad. I did not like it. I had no fun doing it. And that's where my problem is. You can't have a Paper Mario game, in my opinion, and have the combat not be fun. And that's where it's opinion-based. I'm sure there's people that liked Color Splash's combat, but I think a lot of us are just fed up with a gimmick that's not fun. And I think that if they make a gimmick that isn't too intrusive and is fun, then I think a lot of people will be on board for whatever Paper Mario game they make, even if it's not completely like the old ones. And that's why I'm being optimistic about this new one, because if this ring gimmick in this new Paper Mario game for the combat system, if that gimmick is not too intrusive and is actually fun, or even if it is somewhat intrusive, if it's actually fun, I don't think we'll care. I'm sure there'll be some people that are just going to be like, well, it's not like the old ones, I don't want it. But at the end of the day, we still have the old games, so it's up to you on if you want to try the new gimmick that they put in. But I think that if they do it well, I don't think it'd be that big of a problem. I mean, I'm definitely disappointed that I don't see any XP system, but during the trailer, he is getting more hit points. So there is upgrading to some degree, but it doesn't look like there's XP. But the fact that from what we've seen from the combat, it doesn't look like there's some usage limit on the attacks you use, and it just seems that there's a limit on the ring moving mechanic, I'm super happy about that. I think that's what made a lot of Color Splash just not fun. Well, no. The combat really was just terrible in my opinion, but the fact that you had different cards that would run out and just, I don't know, I don't find that fun. I don't play Paper Mario to have some sort of management system. I like being able to customize what I do and utilize the strategy that I make. But you can make that argument with the cards, but I don't find it fun to have it depleted. I think if anything's going to be depleted, it should just be items. And obviously, you know, your flower points and stuff like that. But I'm saying in terms of something that you use. I think items going away is where that should stay. I don't like this idea of, okay, I have 50 different hammers, they're running out. I don't know, I don't find that fun. And that's where it's all opinion-based. And I think that's why talking about this in general is interesting. Because you have fans of this series that like different things and want different things. And I really think that that's where, if they can just morph the two, morph the old style gameplay with some of the new things they've introduced, I think it can be a lot of fun, and I think it can kind of mesh the different fan groups of Paper Mario together and make a really fun experience. Because I think a lot of the stuff that they've done to Paper Mario is good. I really thought that filling in the paint spot mechanic was fun. I enjoyed walking around trying to find those spots and filling them in. And with the way the trailer started for the new game, I thought it was incredible. It gave me chills. I loved how eerie it felt, and just dark in general. I've seen people complain about the paper jokes. I don't mind those. So for me, I thought that trailer, the intro, was absolutely incredible. And I love the gimmick of this new one in terms of the story, where it's like, hey, you have the paper, but then you have the origami. It's really cool to see all these different things in the game go from paper to origami. If you look at some of the art that's been released for this game, it's really cool to see a Goomba in paper and then a Goomba in origami. So I'm going to have fun just going through the game and just seeing different things going from paper to origami, or maybe even vice versa. Maybe King Ollie turns into paper at the end. I don't know. Who knows? But I just wanted to make this video to just kind of talk about me as a fan of Paper Mario and why I'm optimistic about this new game. Because there are definitely a lot of varying fans with Paper Mario. A big one for me is Super Paper Mario. I was always on the fence on if I should get that game or not. And then years and years and years later, because people have said that it's good and they like it, I finally bought it. And I started playing it and I just couldn't get behind it. I just did not enjoy it. I don't know. I didn't like it. So I wanted to give the perspective of someone who really did enjoy the very first Paper Mario game and someone who has wanted a traditional Paper Mario game to come back. But even though we're not getting that, I'm someone that's still excited about this new one. And I'm excited to give it a chance. Now, if this one's absolutely garbage, then please, maybe think about making just a traditional Paper Mario game with the traditional combat, period. But even with me saying that though, that doesn't mean that they can't make a gimmick that is a ton of fun. So maybe if this one is garbage, and they don't do a traditional Paper Mario game after this, maybe they still could come up with a fun gimmick. I think the magic of Nintendo is that they do make things outside of the box that sometimes really work out very well. I know this may not be completely the same thing, but Ring Fit, to me, is absolutely incredible. And I feel like that's something only Nintendo would do. And Paper Mario in general, that was such a weird idea. And look at how many fans they have. There could have been people who argued, hey, we really just wanted another Mario RPG game. Why didn't you just do it like that? Which I know that Paper Mario was originally supposed to be Mario RPG 2, and then there was all that stuff that went on, which we're not going to get into the history of that, but there could have been people who were genuinely upset that they didn't get an actual sequel to Mario RPG on the Super Nintendo. So I think that this type of thing happens in general, but I think a part of the magic of Nintendo is that even if they have something successful, they always push the bar. And sometimes when they do it, it doesn't really hit off well. I think Sticker Star is a good example. I didn't play that game, but from what I've heard, yikes, people really did not like it. And then you have stuff like Super Mario Odyssey, where to me, that game seems like it's going to be really hard to top, but I have faith in Nintendo doing it, and there's people that really did not like Mario Odyssey at all. So I think this goes for a lot of things, but I would rather have a company that does try different things than one that only stays doing the same thing. But with that being said, it's not always a bad thing to stay with the same thing and just make something new from it. And what I mean by that is maybe just a plain old traditional Paper Mario game would be what we need. But as of right now, I'm optimistic about the new game. I'm excited to try it. I'm excited to play it. And I hope that it ends up being a fun game. So that's all I really have to say about this. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about all this. Are you getting the new game? Are you just not even going to bother? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and want to support my content, feel free to subscribe. And until next time, I'll see y'all later. Take care, everyone.